Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Hey, OP, may I borrow your daughter when I start my kitchen reno? This story's delightful from start to finish. I hope your daughter never loses her self-confidence and bright ideas. My 7-year-old daughter makes her first sale. My, at the time, 7-year-old daughter loved to help with every little household task. She loved drying the dishes, watering the plants, sorting the mail, even answering the phone. So whenever I'd have to take her to work with me or out on a boring errand, I'd try to find some small job for her to do to keep her occupied and feeling a valued part of things. For example, if we were at the grocery store, I might suggest she help the clerks by turning all the cans so their labels faced right side out, etc. And what was really helpful is that it allowed me to finish up in the tasks much more quickly. So when I picked her up from school one day, I had to run to a home goods department store and grab a few things for an urgent repair. She was getting restless, so I parked her in the plumbing department and said she could be helpful to the store by going through their big row of pipes and returning the mismatched ones to their proper holders. Her dad's a plumber, so she knew all about which ones went where. Off I went to finish up a few paces over. I was occupied for all of 10 minutes and periodically peeked over to see how she was getting by. She'd moved on from the pipes after a bit, but was checking out other products and seemed entertained enough. So I take a couple minutes more, and all of a sudden I hear, "Associate to aisle 14, please. We need an associate in aisle 14," in a young, chipper 7-year-old voice. I dash back to the plumbing section, and she's nowhere to be found. Then I hear, "It seems we have a birthday in the store. Happy birthday to shopper Nicholas Manikowski." In her unmistakably enthused twang, she took on when talking about something as exciting to her as birthdays. It was probably the most enthusiastic announcement this big box store probably ever heard. It brought on some clapping and whooping from shoppers that made it hard to discern the location of the box, but I could just barely pick out where the PA was coming from. By the time I got there, my daughter was engrossed in conversation with a young couple, not young like 7, young like 25, and was gesturing animatedly at a set of sink fixtures. I thought maybe she was asking them for directions to where I might be shopping or something, but instead I hear, "Oh yeah, you'll want the chrome extender. You'll never sweat the dishes again, and it's such a centerpiece in the room. This store also offers extenders in copper and..." I tapped her on the shoulder, unsure of why she was chatting up these shoppers about faucet add-ons, figuring she'd be relieved to see I'd found her. Instead, she whips around and goes, "Excuse me, Mom, I'm with a customer," and turns right back to her discussion. So I throw my hands up and just hover in the background, waiting to see how this all shakes out, because if I already knew anything about my daughter, it's that when she's decided to do something, it's happening, one way or another. So she continues talking to these two morons, unfazed by her age, about the sink, answering their questions and making suggestions. At first, I was flabbergasted by the fluidity with which she was generating these seemingly accurate responses and wondering if she was sitting up at night watching the Home Improvement channel or something. But I soon recognized the lines. She was parroting her father's sales pitches from work, with some of her own editorials mixed in. He advises people on fixtures all the time, and his firm got a kickback if he could convince clients to buy from their supplier. The more add-ons, the better, so she was laying it on thick. The couple left, agreeing to purchase a whole new sink. If I didn't have to rush out to get another child from daycare, I would have badgered the store for a commission check. When my daughter wrapped up with her customers, I asked her what all had just happened. She explained while she was sorting the pipes, people kept coming up and asking for her advice. I guess I looked smart. It took me a minute to figure out what had happened, because plenty of people who are actually of age to work in the place have been kneeling down, rifling through the pipes, and they aren't mistaken for workers. I've certainly never been. It wasn't until checkout that it hit me. On this particular day, her class had gone on a field trip, or put on a presentation day or something, in which all the children had to wear official name tags the teacher had drawn up for them. She was especially proud of hers and kept it right in the middle of her shirt. It was indistinguishable from the ones employees had on their vests, just a standard red and white, "Hello, my name is blank." People were on such autopilot, they didn't process her age or were so impressed by her unprecedented knowledge of plumbing goods that they set it aside. She confirmed that she knew exactly what to recommend from going to work with Dad. I asked how she ended up manning the PA system, and she explained another employee who'd seen her helping the store customers realized how helpful she could be, so asked her to make an announcement. just like I'd asked her to help sort those pipes, and she was happy to lend a hand. I asked how she knew how to operate a PA system, and to my chagrin, she explained her older sister jumped on the PA system whenever she and her friends came by the department store. She often babysat and ran errands for me. So that was a good data point to have. And she added that someone she'd helped with a fixture decision had mentioned how he was remodeling his house for a 50th birthday present to himself, and she always loves when the bowling alley announces birthdays, so she wanted to try to get the practice started everywhere with the capacity for announcements, and wasn't that a great idea? So she most certainly did not work there, but she was just as helpful as those who did, and I guarantee she had twice as much fun. I assume most people saw her messing around with stuff and thought it'd be cute to ask her opinion, expecting a cute kid answer, and they stuck around because she gave actual answers. And our second story. I tried to make up a way out. I really did. Once again, pulling from the very deep well that is my time as a supervisor for a major cable TV/internet company. This takes place in about 2006, where I've just received a transfer from one of our agents. We have a customer that insisted on a supervisor the instant they called in. Those can be annoying, but also have the potential to be fun. Here we go. This guy starts off by spending the first 10 minutes giving me crap because his wife tried to call in earlier for help, and we wouldn't help her because her name wasn't on the account. Well, that's policy, and no amount of "you should know she's allowed because she's my wife" will change that. It's just a full-on rant about how dumb our policies and agents are for causing him all this trouble of having to call in with her. Over and over in a circular profane complaint. I don't end calls for profanity. It means they're actually going to be the interesting calls that I like. Eventually, I finally get the info I need to get into the account, including security verification from him. Now, my wife's trying to install that free antivirus you guys have on your website, but it says she needs the bleep company name, email address to do it. I don't have one of those, so you need to figure out how to make this work. She's right here on the line with me, and we're both staying here until we get this bleep program installed. Yes, we were giving away an antivirus program, or at least a year of it, free to our customers in some partnership with one of the bigger companies in that field. Sir, you do have one of those. It's created by you when you first sign up, but that was a few years ago, so you might not remember it. That's no problem. I'll look it up for you. I don't remember signing up for that. You guys probably bleep it up somewhere. Like I said, no big deal at all. I'll help you through it. You can change it if you want, or never use it again after this, or whatever you want. Now, I found it, and it does say it was set up by the customer, and it looks like it's been used a lot, just not in a year or so. For security reasons, though, I shouldn't give it to you while she's still on the line. Could you possibly have her leave the line for a few seconds? This is not true, but you'll see why I tried. I told you already, she's my wife. She can do whatever she wants with this account. Can't anybody there listen and do their bleep job? She's got a pen right here, and she'll write it down, and then we'll see about installing the bleep antivirus. You're sure I should say your address out loud while she's on the phone? Yes, this is getting ridiculous. You know that? Just bleep and tell us. Okay, the address you said on the account is secretgaylooking4more@companyname.net. Not the actual address. I tamed it down a bit for Reddit. Female voice for the first time, all call. Again? Are you And right there, the call drops. I forgot to save the account number so I could look it up later and see if anything more happened. But I can imagine. Something tells me the conversation after the hang-up was epic and probably involved the throwing of many objects. And our next story. Entitled Karen blocks our driveway. The usual bullcrap with an entitled Karen. Couple of houses on the street are having renovation work done, so street parking is tighter than usual. Our driveway is very visible. Prominent curb cut, brick pavers that start at the sidewalk. You really can't miss it. I come home from running a couple of errands and a Subaru's parked across our entire, and I mean entire, driveway. They couldn't have centered their car any better if they tried, so I grab another spot and schlep my crap into the house. A couple of minutes later, I see a couple leaving the rental across the street and getting into the car. They're not renters, they're maybe just visiting? I'm not a complete A-hat, and I like the neighbors that live there, so I step onto the porch, get their attention, and in a very nice tone of voice, give them the "Hey folks, just a heads up, if you're back, you're parked in my driveway." The dude looks up, sees that they were clearly wrong, and says, "Oh, sorry man, I didn't even notice. My bad." Which, if that's how poorly you pay attention, you probably shouldn't even be driving. But I let it slide. Karen, on the other hand, "Don't worry about it. We're not parking here." Yeah, you are parked there. But I'm still being at least a little nice. "Well, whether you're staying or not, you're still blocking my driveway." Karen, "It's not a big deal. You don't have to be a jerk about it." Me, "Oh, if I wanted to be a jerk, you'd know it." Karen, "Well, we're not parking here, so you don't have anything to complain about." Me, done being nice, "Do you see that silver car parked right there? I had to park there because you were already blocking my effing driveway. So once again, you are currently effing parked here." Dude apologizes again, tells Karen to STFU and just get in the car. We share a little nod and away they go. Next time she blocked my driveway, I just towed her. "Sorry, Karen." Opinion time? Driveway Defender 1, Karen 0. The hero we didn't know we needed, but damn well deserved. Keep those driveways clear and stay tuned for the next saga of Karen Chronicles. And our last story. "Sir, please remove your fence." While retrieving my mail shortly after moving into my new home, there was a flyer attached to the mailbox post. I read the flyer with interest, finding that it was from a neighbor who purchased the model home at the entrance of our subdivision. The flyer was addressed to all members of the Homeowners Association and essentially informed us that the HOA was using our HOA dues to sue him for not removing a fence from his front yard. The builder erected the chestnut rail fence around the front yard of the model home when it was built, and the purchaser never thought anything about it. A contingent of HOA officers notified him that he had 24 hours to remove the fence or face a lawsuit. Having already faced the wrath of the HOA myself, I stopped at his home to talk with him. After ascertaining the preceding information, I informed him that anything existing on the closing date of the real estate transfer was grandfathered in and therefore the fence was legal. I then proceeded to show this to him in the covenants. At the time, I was an editor with the local newspaper and asked if he minded my writing an article about this incident in the newspaper. He readily agreed, and I went off to discuss it with the managing editor. Between us, we decided to run a series of articles about HOAs and the little Hitlers who run them, highlighting this incident. The series ran 7 weeks on the editorial page, during which time the court case was held and the homeowner won, with the HOA having to pay his legal expenses. He told me that had they asked, he would have removed the fence with no problem. But he was a retired colonel in the U.S. Army and was not used to being ordered to do things. 36 years later, the fence is still there. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.